Hello everyone, my name is James, and today I'm very pleasure to have Mr. Myers being as my guest speaker to finish my history living project. So hello Mr. Myers, how are you doing today?
Fine, James. How are you? I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah. So today you are very excited about talking about the project, talking about the topic of
Space flight.
Space flight. Okay, cool. So I'm not really familiar with this project, this topic. So can you tell me about what is? Can you give me a brief description about it?
Sure. When I was your age, high school age, the concept of manned space flight was becoming a reality. We had all had the fiction shows, Jules Verne's and others. There were TV shows, there were movies, but man had not gone into space. And then the Soviet Union put the first man into space. It was a dog was the first living animal that they put into space, and then the first man orbited. And everyone became aware that there were just brand new worlds out there. Science exploded, math exploded. When the Soviet Union put Sputnik into space, and you could go outside at night and see it across the sky, it scared us. We were behind. The Soviet Union was going to come and land on our shores and just dominate us. And then in the early 60s, the late 50s, we put Telstar up. It was the first orbiting satellite. We started to feel better about it. And then the first man in space was Alan Shepard. The first American in space was Alan Shepard. And then John Glenn was the first American to orbit the Earth from space. And we started to feel good. Kids in high school started to really understand the importance of science and mathematics. And as the space race developed, new technologies became. And then President Kennedy in the early 60s put a challenge to NASA. By the end of the decade, being the 60s, we'll have a man on the moon. That was just beyond our comprehension at all.
So between the first time the Russian put the put the rocket on the space, between that time until the time that we finally successful can get on the space, how many years is it between?
3 or 4 years.
4 years. So
3 or 4 years.
Not really a long gap.
Oh yeah, the United States was already making plans. We didn't know about it though.
Okay. So you mentioned about it first time when you all hear about the Russian that go to space, you're already like scared we're behind. So after right after you know that the American actually can be able to do the same thing as Russian, and even beyond that, like we can put men on the moon. How do you feel about it? How everybody in America feel about it?
We were extremely proud. We had accomplished things that the Soviet Union couldn't do. And for a decade, we felt that we were behind, but then we found out we were way ahead. And then we started to find out that all of the technology that had been developed for the space race, we could use. The reason we have microwave ovens now is because of the space race. Reason we have cell phones now is because of the space race. All of that was developed through the technology to make things smaller, more compact, faster to work. And there were only 3 channels of TV, and if you were lucky, you got 1 or 2 at night. The third was fuzzy. And now we have cable. We have instant communication from all over the world because of the space race.
So looks like the space race and successful landing on the moon really give us a great impact on our history. So do you realize that is there any big significant change before and after the first landing on the moon?
Well, for high school kids, didn't know where to go, what focus. Now they had a new focus. The future was in math and science. And that push happened. They were challenged. They saw the need to go do that, to advance science and math education in high school. Kids wanted to learn. they saw the need. And maybe our nation needs another challenge. The high school kids today are just as smart as the high school kids when I was in high school. Maybe they need a challenge, something to focus on. You are the ones who will bring about the next innovations. You are the ones who will change the world. I don't know how you're going to do it. I don't know in what products, but you will. You will.
So in other words, like all the people getting more confident?
Yes, yes.
Nice. And well, after that, the first successful landing on the moon, do you have a new perspective or new point of view about our country in the whole world? Like what kind of position we are standing in the whole world?
The feeling that we could accomplish anything we put our mind to. Anything was possible. If we could think it, we could do it.
Okay. By that time when everybody's celebrating, and then do we have everything that what you can do as a U.S. citizen, what you can contribute to the country? Do we ever think about what am I to the country, and what is my role to the country by that time?
Okay. My job as a teacher to teach the very best I can. My job as a citizen to know the Constitution, to know what my rights are, to know what my responsibilities are, to know how, if I want some things changed, what I can do to for me to show my sons what's right and what's wrong, and to give them the freedom to make their own decisions, knowing that because they know what's right and what's wrong, they will make the right decisions, and they will teach their children to do the same thing, to know that their opportunities are limitless, only by how hard they want to work and how much time they want to put into it.
Okay, so the very last question is, if I'm asking you to only make one comment on this big success, what would you comment? What would you say? What would you most wanted to let all of us students know?
The future is wide open, limited only by how much hard work and time you want to put into it.
So no pain, no gain.
That's right.
So thank you very much. Thank you, Snyder.
Thank you, John.